Greetings, invaders. My name is Scott. This is Book Invasion. Thanks for watching. Today we're going to be doing a little January / Backlist Bookathon wrap-up of all the books I read in January and for the Backlist Bookathon, which happens from January 15th to February 15th. I read a lot of books. I was pretty proud of myself. I set it pretty ambitious. I read maybe 4 for the Bookathon, and then even before that I got through 3 or 4 books. Some of them were fairly short and some of them were not. So let's dive right in. So the first book that I read was for the Poptimists Discord channel. Poptimist is another booktuber. He's an awesome guy. He has a Discord. They have kind of a book pick for the month. And so January's book pick was The Memory Police by Yoko Ogawa. And now this one had been on my TBR for a long time. I had seen it early. I thought it was pretty cool. And I mentioned it and threw it out on the Discord, and they picked it for the book to read in January. So I dove right into it in the beginning of the month, and I thought it was fantastic. The book is, it's different than something I had ever read before. It's a bit of sci-fi, just a bit of a literary tale about these people who live on an island, and where they wake up one day and things are just missing from their memory, their brains. Like they don't know what a candle is, or like a mug, or sometimes it's jewels, a thimble, things like that. So things start slowly coming out of their memory, and when they know what it is, they kind of get this feeling of what it is, and then they all have to take the thing out of their house if they have it, and they all go through down throw it into a river, I think. So that was really cool. And there's these memory police who come to your house, and if they find the things that have been erased or removed from your memory, then you get arrested and thrown into who knows where. They just kind of take you away. Maybe they kill you. We're not really sure. So when these things start disappearing from people's memories, you have to make sure you get rid of all traces of it everywhere, or else the memory police are going to kind of come to your house. If they find it, they're going to take you away and think you're some kind of heretic or something like that. It's not really a belief system. It's just kind of the way that they live, and the way they've always lived. The memory police have kind of always been there. And so the main character in the story, her mother and her parents, I think, were taken. I'm not really sure where her parents are. But things start disappearing, things start happening. And when people keep the things that they want, or when people do remember, there are people that exist in the world that do remember things where they don't lose those memories. And if those people are found out, they're also captured and taken away. So the main character kind of makes friends with one of those people and harbors them in her house in a secret room. And there's this whole side story where the main character is also writing her own novel, and the man that she's taken into her house is kind of like her editor. She shows him all the manuscripts of these books that she's writing. So it's really deep. It was really cool, and I really loved it. I could talk about it for a long time. I wanted to do a separate book review of it, but it's been a while it's been a month and a half since I've read it. I don't know if I have it all in my brain anymore. I loved it. Anyway, first book, The Memory Police by Yoko Ogawa, was fantastic. The next book I read, was called Your Favorite Band Cannot Save You by Scott O'Moore. Yes, I've been wanting to read this for a long time. It's about a music blogger who just kind of lives in the underground of music. He hears this one track one time of this band, and he gets kind of mesmerized and hypnotized into this song. He starts covering them, and now they kind of come to adopt him onto their tour as kind of the muse of the band. And so you get to notice these group of book bloggers who cover this band, and they have a live feed. They can chat to each other online. And when they listen to the music, they start to do things that they kind of have an out-of-body experience. Things start happening. Bad things start happening. Demons start coming out. The sky cracks open and hands start coming out of it. It's kind of a horror book. It was really great. I loved it a lot. I was a book blogger. I was a music blogger in the past. I know the Bandcamp. I scoured that a whole lot. I knew of what blogging was like. So that book really that character really spoke to me, and I really kind of loved that character. And it was a short novella. It was only, I don't know how many pages, but it was pretty short. It was pretty quick. I really liked it. I really loved it. I loved the brutality of it and sacrificial pieces of it. It was really good. The next book I read was for the Galactic Grimoire book club, called The Disasters by M.K. England. This is a YA sci-fi book. about a misfit group of teenagers who get kicked out of an institute and then they overthrow a government. There wasn't really much memorable about this book. I know there were some space battles and that were pretty cool towards the end. The characters were meh characters, but it had a bit of an action to it. These guys were like the misfits of the group, and then they come back to show and become heroes of the galactic whatchamacallit. So that was The Disasters by M.K. England. It was pretty good. So the backlist books I read, quite a few. Maybe some of these count, maybe they don't. We'll see. So the first one I read was The Unnoticeables by Robert Brockway. This was on my TBR for a long time. I had the physical copy of that. And this was kind of a cyberpunky, kind of crude, sophomore-ish thing. You can tell it was definitely written like in the 2000s or something. There's these kind of gutter punk, drug-addled cyberpunk kids who go through and realize that there's these certain people who, no matter what they do, you can't really focus on them. They're just kind of there in the background. So there are these unnoticeables, and they exist in the shadows in your everyday life. They're always lurking around somewhere, but nobody can really pinpoint what they look like. Or you can hold somebody's face in front of you and be like, what color eyes do they have? And they're like, I don't know. And then that leads into this kind of underground society of these demon things and shadow people and tar people. It kind of got pretty dark, and the main character here is kind of trying to get under it all and kind of uncover this whole scheme. So that was a good one. I gave that maybe 3 stars, I think. So the next one I read, I have that here. I also read Sandman Slim, which is kind of comparable to The Unnoticeables, but I think Sandman Slim is a little bit better. It has more of kind of like the... I felt a lot like The Crow meets Spawn. So something like that, where a guy gets kicked out of hell, and there's talk about the Satan and the angels, kind of all that stuff, like in Constantine. So he knows like the realm of how hell works and what the underworld is like. And Sandman Slim is the nickname of a guy who broke out of hell, and now he's back to the land of the living, trying to right the wrongs that were done to his girlfriend, I think. So that's kind of the Crow aspect, is like, you killed my wife or girlfriend, now I'm going to tear down all of your people in your little clan and just burn it all because I can't die, something like that. So that was really good. So if you like The Crow, if you like Spawn, good stuff like that, check out Sandman Slim. This one was on my TBR for a long time. Let's go through another one I read. It was Fahrenheit 451. I did a video of this. I talked about it. I listened to the audiobook, narrated by Tim Robbins, which was good. I have yet to watch the movie adaptation or movie adaptations of this, but I should check that out because I like the book. I like the philosophy behind it. And yeah, I feel like if the right people are in power, that could no longer be a fiction story and it could come true. The next one I read, it was The Gigantic Beard That Was Evil. This is kind of a graphic novel. It's all kind of just done in black and white pictures about a town called Here, where everything is normal and peaceful and quiet and standard and very cookie cutter. Nothing is out of order. Everything is where it should be. People go through the same routine like robots and so on and so forth. But then one day, the main character realizes that there's a hair growing out of his chin. People aren't allowed to have hair or facial hair. And the more he cuts it, the more it grows out of hand. You can see grow. Till one day, it grows and grows and grows and grows. So they build scaffolding so it doesn't crush people's houses. So this is a really good graphic novel. I liked it. I kind of liked the message that it held. The illustrations in it was really good. The next one I read was The Electric State by Simon Staudenhag. Now this book is pretty thick. It's got a good story to it, but most of the pages, you can see, some of it's just a little paragraph, couple of paragraphs, and then the illustration. So there's a story about a girl and a robot who are traveling back to her hometown. Here's the picture from the cover. And it's kind of a sad story because you get pieces of her story and what her family is like. And then you kind of get these intermingled stories of the scientists and what they were all up to. It's really cool. And then she finally makes her way back home. That's her and the robot. To find her brother, I think. But The Electric State, which is great. There's also another book that he wrote, maybe two others that he wrote that are like this, that have these fantastic illustrations in it. Check out Simon Stallenhag. That was fantastic. Let's see. The other audiobook I listened to was The Feed by Nick Clark Window. The Feed was one I wanted to read for a long time, and they just released an Amazon Prime series of the book, which I really want to watch now that I've read the book. That's kind of my purpose. So I've read the book. I really enjoyed it. It was really good. Now I want to go watch the Amazon Prime series, and then I'll probably do a video comparing the two, or doing an in-depth more review of the book versus the show. So I want to check that out. And then I finished Velocity Weapon, which was also on my list to read on my backlist. I just filmed a review of that. I have some notes. So that should be coming up soon. I think that's all. That was a lot of books. I'm doing good so far on my reading goal. You probably don't care, but I got through more than I expected. So now I'm going to dive into some horror books, I believe. Some indie horror books I've got. For the Women in Horror Month is February. The month is only about half over, so I'm going to try to squeeze some of those in. Read some physical books, try to grab some audiobooks where I can. I got a bunch on my Kindle. So I'm going to try to finish out the month with Women in Horror. So you should get a video about those books. Anyway, that's all I got, people. Sorry, I don't have any good jokes. I'm not really goofy today. I'm feeling it. I'm trying to get back into filming. My other video that I had a lapel mic that I finally used, that I plugged into my camera, and I was going to film this with the lapel mic as well. But my camera battery died, so I'm filming on my phone. That's why this color is all jacked up. And the frame is all weird. Now you're just looking at my books. Hey, I'm over here. Eyes are up here. Anyway, see ya. Thanks. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.